right. Welcome to our work session dated Monday, July 13th. We have 3 items on the agenda. And Laura, do you want to take roll call?
Sure. Councilmember Wiley.
Present.
Councilmember Tradewell.
Here.
Mayor Rolfe.
Here.
Councilmember West.
Present.
Councilmember Bray Johnson.
Here.
All right, I'll let you take it from here, Laura.
Sure. As Mayor indicated, 3 items on the agenda tonight for this work session for discussion. The first one is updates to the cannabis hemp registration ordinance, and City Attorney Joe Sathey is here remotely tonight to give us an overview of those updates. And then there is an item on the consent agenda of the regular meeting tonight to act on those. Are you here, Joe?
I'm here, Lauren. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Fantastic. So I can jump right in. These are in the 2026 legislative session, and I think we've anticipated for a couple of years, like liquor, there's going to be a cannabis bill probably every year. So these updates to the city's cannabis ordinance are a result of this year's changes. The most significant of those changes currently, and when adopted, the city was able to, I think as everybody recalls, cities are required to allow at least one cannabis retailer based on your population, which was under 12,500. But then there was the option to allow no retailers if there were a certain number within the county. This year, the legislature took away that countywide limiting ability. So the update that you have removed that provision. So again, you can still limit to 1, but no longer are able to issue 0 if there's a certain number within the county. Does anybody have questions on that?
Does like
change?
G Wills count towards that number, or because they sell hemp products?
Got it. Really good question. No, the hemp edible retailers do not count towards this limit.
Do we have an opportunity then to tighten up our requirements as to where they can be?
That's a good question. We can review further the restrictions that are in both the city code and the zoning code, but when drafted, they were about as restrictive as I think they're as restrictive as basically we could allow. So I'm not sure there's an opportunity for more restriction on location, but we can absolutely look into it and further, I guess, change that for a zoning code update.
So are we allowing 1 now, or did we go with doing the average with the county and stuff?
We currently don't have any.
We don't have any, but are we allowing for 1? So really we don't need to change anything if we're okay with just 1, right?
Well, Councilmember Wiley, I can clarify that. Currently, the code says no more than 1 and 0 if there's X number within the county, and that X number is 1 per 12,500 county residents.
That's changed.
All we're doing is taking away that second provision. So now we'll just say the city of Oak Grove allows 1 cannabis retailer.
Yeah.
I think what John's talking about is the zoning part of the locations of where they can be.
Right, no, I realize that's what he's talking about. But we were pretty tight on that, I thought, last time around as it was.
I think we were.
I don't know how tight we can go. I mean, maybe we can go tighter, but we'll look at it. But
I don't see why we don't just look at it and then we refresh ourselves in the topic a little bit. So if we get questions from people, it'd be nice to be able to answer them factually.
Eventually, the state will change and you'll just have to.
Oh, this is going to
It'll be
be,
mandatory that you do have.
Ongoing.
it's going to be ongoing for years.
So the question I have for either Joe or Lauren, I think John's idea is good to at least, if nothing else, at least just review it. But then, is there a timeline? Because we probably shouldn't vote on this during our meeting tonight. Because then all of a sudden, if somebody was to come and apply, now we're trying to change the zoning. Do you see that being a problem, or am I overthinking it?
I think I can answer that. I think you can vote on this amendment here tonight because this changes just the city code part of the sort of cannabis package. And then we can look at and bring back to the next meeting additional items for considering for zoning if that works. Does that make sense? That answers your question?
Yeah, I think
Doesn't
so.
really
I just think
answer
if somebody was to put in an application
Right.
between, which zoning are they gonna go off of? Probably what the current zoning is.
Yeah, we're not.
That's right. It would be,
Go ahead, Joe.
I was gonna say, yes, it would be the zoning that's in place, when the applicant submits an application.
Right, so it kind of goes back to the original question, is, do we need to vote on this tonight, or could we bring this back to the next meeting after we see what the zoning requirements are to see if they could be changed?
Yeah, what's the timing?
Yeah, understood. You can wait. You do not have to vote on this tonight. We could bring this back as a full cannabis package again. But on August 1st, this countywide limit will be out of statute, meaning that the city would not be able to use the language in its code currently to limit based on a county number. So basically, we would just follow statute on August 1st, and the city code would not reflect what's in the statute. And that's okay, because we would just follow the statute.
Right, so we could move this to the next one sometime in the next week or so. Maybe, Lauren, you could send us out what the zoning is, and then at our next meeting, if there's any discussion about it, we'll have it and then vote on it. I don't know if Joe would have to be at that meeting or not. I feel like we kind of already know what the rules are,
Yeah.
but
Sure.
unless anybody thinks otherwise.
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with it.
All right. Like I say, I'll leave it up to Lauren. I don't know, Joe, if you have to be there for the next one, because I think we're going to look at it and be like, oh, there's nothing really we can do here anyways, and vote on it and be done with it. But
Yeah, of course.
appreciate the information.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have any other questions on the other changes before then as well, let me know, and we can make sure those get addressed in a presentation.
Yeah, I'd say maybe, Lauren, if you could set it out this week, and maybe beginning of next week, if any of us have a question, we could message you about it.
Yep.
We could look into it.
I'll send out that buffers map that we created from all the different types of schools, daycares, public uses, and then the language.
All right. Well, unless anybody has anything else, we'll move on to item 2.
Nope. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is he not gonna stick around for like the cemetery talk or anything, if we had any legal questions on that? Or?
I didn't think about that. I didn't ask him to. I know he has a meeting at 6.
Is he gonna be on that meeting?
No.
Okay, I'm just thinking we might have some legal questions on whether we go for this or don't go for this. But I guess if he's gone already now, unless you want to call him back.
I mean, they're not making a decision tonight. It's for discussion. I think if there are a list of questions, we can certainly get them to him for him to answer. I can ask, I mean, I'm sure you can pop back on for a little bit if you want to.
I'm just thinking if we're already paying him to be here tonight. You know,
Is he charged by the 15-minute?
I don't think he usually does that, but if he did, we'd just call him up and tell him, ask a question, get off the line. I just think, I don't know, maybe there won't be any questions. I guess it depends on how the talk goes and what we discuss.
Right. We'll just wait for a second and see what he comes up with.
I don't anticipate this being a long discussion, but
No, I don't think it would be either. But then again, we've said that before, and then
You're right.
2 hours later.
I said tonight we'll be done by 7.
yeah.
And then next thing you know, it's 8:30.
Was it you that said that that the cemetery wasn't accepting people anymore, or was it them that said that?
She said that she's not. She told me that she's not because she doesn't have anybody to help bury anyone, and she doesn't have the capability
I
to
thought-
sell many.
I thought the burial guy was a vendor that they've used for.
Well, the guy that digs the graves, yes, but her husband goes out and sells the graves and lets people pick where they want them, and he runs all that stuff, and he can't do it right now.
All right, so we can't put people in the ground because we can't sell a plot.
Well, they can't sell a plot, but they don't have somebody to go coordinate everything to tell the digger where to dig.
Ah.
The
Okay.
digger doesn't
Find an
know.
empty spot.
How's that?
Or wait,
Oh,
Okay.
for those that might be at home watching, you want to give a
I
little
saw your-
summary of what we're
Yep.
even talking about here?
Yep. At the last council meeting, I did provide you with some documents that the West Oak Grove Cemetery Association had submitted to the city. I guess backing up a little bit, the Cemetery Association approached the council last fall about the city taking over the cemetery. City listened to their presentation. They came back again earlier this year with another request for the city to take over the ownership and operations of the West Oak Grove Cemetery Association. The council asked them to check a couple other places, Anoka County and also the Cedar Cemetery Association. The West Oak Grove Cemetery Association did make those two contacts. Both entities declined taking ownership or taking over the cemeteries, both Anoka County and the other cemetery in town. So they are again asking the city to take over the operations. Sounds like the board's health is declining, and age is increasing, and there's nobody stepping up. So they are requesting the city to consider taking this over. So what I've included in the packet was basically the request of the council from the last meeting, all the information that's been submitted, basically from the last couple meetings where they presented to us. Joe has not responded. I know he had a conflict with the 6 o'clock, so I knew he had another meeting he may be driving to.
Well, if we have questions, they should be directed to him. I guess we'll just get hold of him. I know we've been talking about this for, I don't know, probably a year thereabouts. I don't know if anybody has any questions. I can't remember if it was Councilmember Ray Johnson or myself. I honestly don't remember, but one of us requested to put this on a work session, so honestly, I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was Bob, but
it was both of us.
figure here we are. We can talk about it. I think at the end of the day, no matter what way it goes, I think everybody here has a heart, and but yet, is it the smartest thing for the city or not? I guess that's your opinion, one way or the other. So, I don't know if anybody has any questions for Lauren or anything for the city attorney, or if you support this or don't, or what.
Lauren, have we voted on this in the past? Have we made an official decision, or have we just sort of kicked the can down the road on this thing? Do you recall? I know we've talked about it like 4 different times.
I don't think we've taken any vote on it. I think they've been in the form of presentations of the Cemetery Association presenting to the city council and then making a request. And then I think a couple times you asked for additional information, they've got that information, and then they came back and presented it to the city. I think most recently too, they've indicated that they're not selling lots right now. And I thought I had heard too that they might not be doing burials, because of the health issues of the board members.
Yeah, I think we just had consensuses once or twice about whether there was interest. I think we left it at that.
Yeah, that's what I'm sort of remembering too. We had
It
a
was
consensus,
consensus.
but there was no real vote.
Right.
Correct,
yeah.
yep.
Yeah, that's my recollection too. Angie, I'm sure you got something we want to start on your end, or you want to go first? or
Sure.
last?
Sure. Well, I mean, as you guys know, I am for this, and for multiple reasons. Not just because I have loved ones buried there and I own a plot there. It's because it's a cemetery in our city. it will be abandoned, which does take time to happen, but if somebody doesn't step up, it will be abandoned, and I think that's really unfortunate for everybody that's buried there and also who own graves there. I kind of think it's disrespectful, but what I will say is that I know there's a lot of concern about future councils and future residents paying for it if it does not have money like it has today. But as long as graves are being sold, it's always going to have money. And the money that it has right now, the sites are actually pretty cheap. So the cost of purchasing a plot could definitely be increased to make sure that there's always funds in there for the city to not have to charge the taxpayers the cost of taking care of maintaining the cemetery. I mean, I truly believe it would pay for itself. But I also am going to say there's many things that we've done and or voted on or said that future councils can deal with or will deal with. And I think this is a pretty major thing. And I really don't think that, looking at what I know, and when you look at the cost of mowing, snow removal, and then somebody in the office that is going to spend 10, 15 hours max a week, max, to sell plots and to coordinate this, it's really not going to cost that much money if we take it over, but remember, there's already, it's a self-investment. It's investing in itself. I truly believe that it will pay for itself, and it's not going to come out of our taxpayers' dollars. And I mean, I think when you look at the fact that it's been self-sufficient for many, many, many years, so what would make it not self-sufficient now if the city did take it over? And I know that also, Mayor Rolfe, you did ask, in our last meeting about if the county doesn't want to take it over because they don't have the resources, then what about the city taking it over because we don't have enough resources? My thing is that it's our city, and I believe that we should be responsible to help to maintain the things in our city to the best of our ability. And I think that's what we've all tried to do as an elected representative serving our city. That's just the heart of all of us. And so I just wanted you guys to think about those, the big picture that I truly, and if you really look at the numbers of what it's worth, it is self-sufficient. It's just that the city would be managing it now, not the volunteers that are not willing to or able to manage it anymore. So that's what I have to say about the subject right now. Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else have any comments, questions?
Sure, I do.
Oh, me too.
I don't know if you want to go down
Oh,
the
go ahead.
line or what?
Go ahead.
I disagree. I don't want the city to take over. I don't think it's self-sufficient. I think at a certain point, you're gonna sell that last lot in there, and there will be no additional money coming into this plan. So you're still gonna have costs, but no money coming in. I don't know how many years out that would be, but I'd love to see a spreadsheet on what they're charging right now, and you can figure out how many lots you have, how many
8,000.
slots you have, and what that, you can figure out about when you should end with that. But I'm not in favor of it. I think it's gonna end up on the taxpayers' dime. And I guess that's my opinion. I'm totally against it.
Go ahead, Paul.
So I didn't do that to.
Oh,
No, I actually had a frog in the throat. The one thing to me is, on average, it's losing about $35,000 a year in the last. That's just the last 4 years, per year. Per year. That's what it's costing to run that thing, $35,000. So it's only going to run so long. Now you can look at it a couple different ways, right? We do it now, and we let somebody else worry about it 15 years from now. when it runs out of money. And yeah, we were the bad council that brought it on. I don't know that we can let it sit there. I'm just kind of talking out loud. I don't know that I want to drive by and see it look like crap. I know it's a losing proposition. It's gonna lose money. It's losing money every single year. So I don't know if they just don't have sales or what it is, but they are losing money. You know, and when you're starting talking going down about 35,000 a year, don't take long to get, you know, have 100,000 go. But I know we can't not do nothing. But it is going to end up on someone's going to have to make the hard choice of saying no, and then it probably will go, you know, turn into weeds at some point. But I guess it wouldn't be on us. That's just all the thoughts in my head. I know I don't want to do nothing, but I also know I wouldn't go into this business deal. So if I was, I'd go to John and borrow some money and take a loan out, you know, and do, you know, seriously, and go into it if I thought it was going to make money. I don't. I think it's a losing proposition. So. But not right now.
Yeah.
In the future.
I hear everything you're saying, and I feel exactly the same way. It's our city. We've got all kinds of veterans in there. Civil War, I get it. But Paul's exactly right. I mean, from a business standpoint, and I know it's hard to put business on a cemetery because there's a lot of emotion there. Believe me, I'm dealing with that in my family right now. And so there's a soft spot for me for that today. But from a business standpoint, the potential of $1.9 million is there. If you add it up, if the sales that they're talking about, number of plots they have, you know, add that all up at $8,000 a plot or whatever it was, it comes out to 1.9 or 1 point something. But someone's got to be actively out there doing that. There's a lot of management on the back end. I mean, they're not putting people in the ground today because there's no one to do it, no one managing, right? So that's a problem. The mowing, the maintenance, all that stuff. I mean, and now we don't have a private entity do it, we have government doing it. And that just makes it more expensive on its own, right? I don't know what the answer is today, but I do see both sides of it. I'm inclined to say no, just because of the business standpoint, and we have a financial responsibility to the constituents of the city. But mine's not made up. I'm willing to listen to anybody about this, but I don't see it as a good thing for the city today.
It's 800
Yeah, it's 800,
which isn't bad.
is
800 what?
Dollars first.
for a plot.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
like half of
cedar-
most of.
Yeah, it's half of most, so the price can go
So I
up.
did add a zero.
Absolutely.
Yep. And it's a nice looking cemetery. So
No, well, I guess my opinion is here, it hasn't really changed much. I do, like all of us here, you know, if I put emotion into it,
Yeah.
it's a really hard decision.
Exactly.
It's really hard. Because I do know that there's people clearly been buried for a long time, from Oak Grove, a lot of them, I don't know what the percentage is, maybe it even says in here, maybe I missed it, that are veterans, people who lived in the city for, you know, many, many, many years. But I also look at it and think there's a cost to it. And the only way to me that makes any sense, and I don't even know if I'd say it still makes any sense, but the only way it makes any sense to me at all is if there is a particular place out there, and I honestly don't know if there even is, that it's almost like it's a company you contract and they do everything. You know, almost like the building inspector, right? They sell the graves, they schedule everything, they get the lawn done, they get all that. I'm sure there's a company out there that does that, but of course, they're not free either. Now, maybe it will offset itself, maybe. I just really haven't done the research because I don't even know if there's a company like that even exists. But I also know, you know, we're putting a lot on city staff here, and, you know, we want this, we want this, we want our council packets on Thursdays, and I just don't know where the staff is going to add. Let's even just say it's half the amount of time that Angie's saying, 5 or 10 hours a week. So it's hard. It is, because there are people, again, with emotions that are going to think we're cruel, but there's also the vast majority of people who in the city, I want to assume, I could be wrong, that are gonna say, why is my tax dollars paying for this cemetery when I don't have any loved ones there? My loved ones are at one of the other cemeteries that you're not paying for at all. And my other concern is once we do it for one, whether it's right or wrong, I think others will follow. Maybe not right away, but at some point. And it's a situation that I don't know if there really is a win. I think it's kind of a lose-lose no matter which way you go with it. But to me, I still look at it and I totally hear everything Angie's saying. But it's just interesting to me how it's like the counties, they're not interested, and then that's like accepted. It's okay. It can come with the county attorney's signature and all that on there, and it's totally fine. But
We say no, we're bad guys.
Right.
Bad gals. Sorry. Bad people.
and it's even on their road. You know, you can't even get to it without driving on their road.
Yeah.
But I do think, and I think I've said it a couple times, I think we would all agree that at some point we got to give an answer, probably one way or the other, instead of just this having them do more things and then kick it down the road and
We've been balking a little bit, but for good reason.
What's that?
Get more information. I said we've been balking a little bit.
I'm not
yeah,
saying
well,
anybody's done anything wrong. Everybody has their thoughts, and it's fair.
It's not an insignificant thing that we're talking about. I mean, the resting place of people. I mean, first burial record there is 1856. It's been here
Pretty
for
cool.
a while, right? There's 8 Civil War veterans, 1 veteran from the War of 1812, and that's just 158 other known veterans. I mean, it's an important thing we're talking about. So, anybody who thinks we're making this decision lightly is wrong.
Can you run it like you do the ponds or Lake George as an enterprise? Meaning,
User fees?
yep. Well, the user fees are. I know. It's not even funny.
Oh, how that's going to work.
Right.
I know
No,
what you're
but-
saying, but
No,
user
but can't you
fees-
run it as an enterprise fund totally? And when the money's gone, the money's gone. And that way it doesn't, and if we could find a service to handle it, you run it as an enterprise fund. If it runs out of money, it's done. We don't
But
give it more money.
We know it's gonna run out of money.
I
So,
know.
so the thing is, all you're doing is pushing it down the road for some other council to have to deal with it.
So then they're gonna have to be the one to say this, city-owned cemetery, but we're no longer gonna take care of it. I know what you're saying. If
Yeah.
it was something like that, but
I'm just trying to
at
get
some
beyond
point,
the-
it's gonna run
Has-
out.
This point.
Has anybody talked to our neighboring cities that have cemeteries? I know East Bethel does, Now Then does.
Well, there's other cities, other cemeteries in our city, right?
Yeah, but I know that
You mean to
those-
manage 'em?
Those cities have cemeteries that they manage. So I'm wondering if anybody's talked to them to know what it's like for them, to kind of give us something to go off of also. And what they're even charging.
I doubt about, we did bring that up in the past, kind of like to see, but yeah.
Well, we talked to them.
I
about
thought
it.
maybe that organization would check into that and stuff when we originally were talking to them. I don't know if they did. I assume you have not, have you, Lord?
They haven't, but there's a lot
I
of,
think we discussed that with them when they're here doing their last
Yeah.
presentation about looking at neighboring cities and cemeteries and see if there's any interest there.
Well, I don't think another city would want to take over a cemetery in our city, but I'm just wondering if anybody's researched what it consists of for them and if they think that it's working for their city financially,
Well, I think right now our city staff's pretty busy right now with we're just starting budget with our comp plan, everything else going on, our fire station. So I don't expect us, and it's not our baby right now. Doesn't mean we need to have a totally hands-off, but it's not really our position. I mean, that, to me, would be their organization as they're trying to get somebody to take over, and I realize they're volunteers, which makes it difficult too. This is one thing I'd like to talk to Joe about, but that's why I wanted him to stick around.
can hop back on if you want. You want
What's
me to?
that?
He can hop back on if you want me to.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to ask him a question or two.
Okay.
Is he up to speed on this?
I don't know.
Okay.
We'll find
I
out.
mean, he's aware of the issue. He's been at a couple of meetings, I think, but we haven't spent any time on it.
Is this down again, Lauren, or is it just turned off for me every week for some reason?
He's got a new one ordered for you for
You're
in
his
building.
favorite.
Should be working. It's not working?
No,
Okay.
Mine works fine, Mike.
I know, everybody's works.
mine
all
looks
the
works
time.
really good.
Like,
I know I'm not into
I'm
electronics.
hoping to get batteries first before you get a monitor.
Well, maybe we'll
While you're pulling that up, I think.
go up to
yeah.
the next topic.
Right. You know, the thing about it is too is that, like we've all been saying while you're pulling that up, Lauren, is that if this wasn't a cemetery or maybe something for a veterans type thing, we probably wouldn't even be having this conversation. If it was any other place in the city, we wouldn't even be having it. So whether or not we should be talking about it shows that everybody has a heart.
Yeah,
Which
it's
is-
a private business, right?
Right. But at the end of the day, if you did the numbers, Paul, and I'm gonna take your word on it, the 35,000 a year that it's losing, does the average taxpayer in the city, is that important enough for them to cover that? I don't know. You know,
Can I add something to that loss? There's been thousands of dollars in attorney's fees spent over the last year and a half. Thousands.
Oh, you can see it.
Yeah.
And
statements.
also, in the last year, any
15.
capital improvements that needed to be done, the attorney suggested to get done. And so they did make some investments into some things at the cemetery as well. So I'm going to say that a lot of that is attorney fees that went out because we had to send letters out to everybody that is a member that owns a plot there to have a vote last year about if we were even going to move forward with asking the city to take it over. And so that required a lot of attorney's fees. I mean, the last 2 years has required a lot of attorney fees. So,
But that can come down any time in the future too. 20 years from now, we could be right back there spending all kinds of money for whatever, infrastructure or attorney fees or whatever. Unknowns that-
there's a structure there that is the pump for the well. That's it. That's the only structure that's there is just a shed. So there's really not a lot of maintenance besides plowing and mowing and
Didn't you just say they fixed up some infrastructure there and stuff?
yeah, they fixed the shed.
Maintenance is about 16,000 a year.
Yeah.
Attorney's fees.
Should
are
eventually need
15,000
repair
a
work
year.
again too, probably. You don't know if some lawsuit's going to come because somebody tripped and fell over a headstone or something. You can't predict the future.
Well, no, of course not.
I mean,
you
it
can't
just goes
predict-
to show that
That could
yeah,
hap-
there's other parts to any business that
that could happen on city property too.
exactly it can.
You know, what if? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Another
he-
reason not to have it. That way we don't have to worry about it being our property.
is he on yet there, Lauren, or not?
Yep, right now he's coming on.
Right. Because then I do have one question for you, Lauren, that maybe I'll ask you the question so you can think about it a little bit. I'm kind of putting you on the spot here. So if you're not able to give a good response today, that's fair.
Okay.
My question is going to be, is what would it take of city staff to actually accomplish this? So maybe think about it for a few minutes, because I think we would have to hire somebody to do something, or contract, or whatever. If you want to think about it for a couple minutes. Maybe you already have, I don't know.
Welcome back, Joe.
Thank you, Lauren. Apologies for my intermittent attendance.
No
Not a problem. Councilmember Wiley has a couple questions for you. The rest of us may also, but if you want to start off, Mike?
Joe, you familiar with the cemetery issue with the city right now, with taking over possibly a cemetery?
Yes, generally.
Okay, so here's what I'm concerned about. At some point down the road, can this be forced upon us whether we like it or not? Because that might affect the way we look at whether we should just do something or not. I mean, is that something that you think that they could force upon us with a lawsuit or anything like that? Is that likely?
I don't believe that it's something that can be forcibly, I'm gonna use the term, dumped upon the city. It could be, I mean, the scenario that has been played out generally is, it becomes a public nuisance and then the city feels forced to take it over. But I don't believe there's a mechanism by which the city is required by law to take it over.
Okay, because this kind of reminds me of like a Connexus problem we had up at the ponds.
Right.
Everything was working great when there was money, and all of a sudden the money started disappearing. Then the city had to get involved and take over. You know, and Connexus just said we don't want to do it anymore and stuff. And that's kind of what I worry about with this. When the money's gone, nobody wants to do it. And I was worried that at that point, could the city be forced? If the city would have to make the decision at that time, that's for any council in the future to make at that time, whether they want, if they feel bad and want to cut it and stuff. So, yeah, that was the only main thing I had, Joe. I just wanted to know whether they could force it upon us, because in the past I heard that possibly they could. So, thank you.
Yeah, I don't, and, of course, I'm not familiar with that mechanism. And with Connexus, I think it was that because they're providing a utility,
Right.
that it was a different scenario. Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure so I know which lawyer to go after later if it happens.
That's right. Good. Red-headed step attorney is always a good choice.
Thank you very much, Joe.
Of course.
Any questions for Joe while he's on?
I do not.
No, not legal.
Looks like that might be all we needed you for.
But you can stay if you like.
I don't think
No?
so.
Oh,
think
John doesn't want you.
He's not doing it.
Yeah, he's not donating his time.
Oh, I thought he was just going to watch TV and mute the phone.
He's in his flip-flop setting for the pool.
So I know I
Yeah, wish.
Yeah.
I know I kind of put you on the spot, Lauren, but I got to believe you've probably thought a little bit about this over the last year.
Yeah, I mean, at a minimum, staff is gonna have to, work on this. If nothing else, we'll have to answer the phone. People have questions, complaints. Those are gonna come to city staff now. There'll be coordination amongst, even though they have it looks like they have contracted services in place for a lot of the operations, which is good. It still takes someone to coordinate that, so that's gonna be staff time.
To make sure it's getting done.
We'd have to advertise plots in the newsletter.
If we want to realize that revenue of $1.9 million, we're going to have a marketing plan or
Right.
something to
Newsletter.
sell those. They're not, I mean, if you look at it, there's not a lot of sales coming in per year. It looked like 15 to 20,000 over the last couple years. So it would take a long time to sell those lots,
Yeah.
to realize that. If and when the funds ran out, then city staff would be probably performing a lot of those services and, burials and such. Are we gonna pull people off the road from plowing routes to do a burial? It's gonna be a priority of service.
We'd have to get licensed or something. You'd have to have a licensed person to do the work, because it doesn't sound like there's a.
I don't know about that. I know there's an association, cemetery association. I think their attorney referred to it. They provide training.
Mhm.
We would definitely want to take that if we're going to be running a cemetery. We got a lot going on right now.
I'm sure the state would want to be involved with that somehow, with some sort of handout. But
I guess for me, I'm just going to tell you where I'm at right now. I don't feel good about it, but unless there's some type of company out there that literally you can contract, like the building inspector or one of those, that all you do is you refer your calls and emails to this particular company. I'm not interested. Even with that, I'm not saying I would be interested, because what do they charge?
Right.
But I'm just trying to be, I guess, a good steward to the taxpayer dollar at the end of the day, and try and keep my emotions out of it. But I just can't see city staff dealing with all this. So you're either going to have to contract somebody, or you literally just have to hire somebody that solely they just do this stuff. Because if you're going to try again to actually bring some of this revenue in, you're going to have somebody out there actually marketing and selling these things. Even if we could say, hey, they'll give us the money, we'll take it, we'll mow it every, once a month or whatever. You're still gonna have people who have purchased the plots in the past and the graves and everything, that you're still gonna have to do something. So you couldn't even just say, well, we'll take it over, we'll deal with it in the future, we'll just mow it every once in a while. So that's where I'm at. Whether or not we have a vote on it or push it on out till next year and figure it out with whoever the council is at that time. I guess I'm not trying to make it their problem, but I could go either way with it.
Dude.
I'm just
Wow.
telling you right now, I'm not gonna support it. So it really is up to you guys. Again, the only way I would even entertain it and think about it more is if there is this contract company and it made some sort of sense.
Well, yeah, it'd have to. I mean, just looking at the numbers, even if you took out the legal fees, their expenditures still outweigh their income. And to me, there's a timing thing to this as well. I mean, with all the stuff the city has going on right now, we have bigger fish to fry. I know you like that one. So, I don't know if I could go along with it for a couple of different reasons. I mean, again, the emotional thing is a factor, but just to be a good steward for the city's money, I don't think we can. Not right now. That's where I stand.
I'd say if the cemetery wants to come up with, if there's even is this company, that they can put something together, but we provided a list of our priorities to Lauren, and I feel like we need to stick to these priorities. And this wasn't one of the top of, it wasn't even on the list of priorities.
There seems to be some. You just have to do some research.
And maybe there is, I don't have any idea,
But when you say that, who's going to still own it? I understand, but who's going to own it?
we'll see, I guess we own it.
Right.
But that's why I'm not saying I support it if we do that, but I would entertain learning more about that, is I guess more what I'm getting at.
Because at the current rate, I could see if you didn't make any sales, 7 years, you'd be out of money.
Basically, what's here, copy and paste.
Roughly. It might go 10. Not as many lawyer fees, but there'll be lawyer fees. When we go to do the transition, you got to have somebody draw up the papers. And
So Lauren, this isn't really down for a vote tonight, is
Put
it?
it into both.
Or do you
It's a
want
work
us to
session,
vote?
so it's just discussion, whether you wanted to give staff direction or have us give some information back to the cemetery association, or you can,
It seems like we're just leaving it up in the air, and we should just vote the way we feel and get it done, so at least everybody knows where we stand at the present time, at least. It can always come back to us next year, like you said, after the election, and maybe there's new people here that are all for it, I don't know. Maybe it becomes a campaign issue, it's,
but
it just seems like we should just end it for now. We're just gonna keep
Well,
talking on it.
we've been talking about it for how long now? How many meetings has this been a part of?
Like
4 different ones. Has anyone talked to anybody, constituents that had been feeling strong about it one way or the other?
I haven't.
Either way, anybody?
yeah.
Okay, and?
No.
Okay,
Why would you do that?
okay. So no one's approached me about
Now,
it.
they don't have anybody there.
No, I get that. I get
You
that.
understand.
That's some besides the point. If you got somebody there, that's a closer issue to you.
Yeah.
But I haven't had anybody approach me after all the discussions that we've had and say, hey, specifically, that's a great idea or that's a bad idea. And I'm just wondering if has anyone been approached? You probably have. You're
I
closer
have,
to
yeah.
it. But have you guys? Any of you?
I've just asked.
Just one?
I've just asked people. Just a couple.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had one tell me, don't do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was it. But again, I suppose if your parents were buried there,
Yeah.
you might go from a no to a
Sure,
yes. But
yeah.
But even then, we haven't had anybody. I haven't had anybody call me and say, hey, my dad's there, my mom's there, or whatever.
I don't know how many people actually know that we've been discussing this right now.
This is where I'd love to do a survey monkey. And send it out.
I can absolutely put it out on social and see what the community says.
Well, we wouldn't make a vote during a work session anyways. It'd have to come back as a resolution, right,
Well, we
Lauren?
could add it on tonight, so
Yeah.
No, yeah.
we haven't set the agenda yet.
I would
Well,
just
we
let,
have
let it go for another month and at least look and see if
Couldn't we
there's
do that? We have a
management
quorum.
company.
Couldn't we just do
typically the work session is just for discussion items.
Oh.
you could add it to
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't done our agenda for tonight, so you could just add it on.
Yeah, we could add it to the agenda for tonight, yes.
I think we just add it. At least then everybody knows where everyone stands and
Well, and it helps the cemetery because they know where we stand, and now they can look at if there's any other option they have. They know the city's not interested.
What if we find a management company? Bring it back?
well, it's like anything you can bring back. I wouldn't want to say, oh, now next week somebody's got another idea, and the next week. I mean, if the
Robert's
cemetery
rules
comes,
has some rules about that.
right, if they
Can we
come back
follow
with a
Robert's
really good
rules?
plan.
No, we'd like to use them as a guideline.
When they benefit us, we like them.
I like the way you're thinking. But, yeah, I mean, it could always come back, but I wouldn't say like Weston was saying, you can't keep doing it over and over and over again.
No, without
At some point, you've got to shut it down.
somebody had new information or found a company, that's a little different, you
Yeah.
know, because you're.
Yeah, new information.
Well, that's why I was just saying if we could bring it back to the next meeting as a thing, at least it gives 2 more weeks to. I would do some digging myself.
Yeah, I would too, yeah.
So that's all I'm asking
Got
for
some
is
other
just 2
ideas.
weeks. Just put it on the next agenda to vote it, because we know where it's going. I mean, but at least it gives 2 weeks to do a little bit of research. To
I
Just had 2 weeks.
and I'm only one person here.
I didn't have time.
This is all I'm saying, Paul. Do it tonight, do it next time. I don't really care. And I'm only one person here, but I don't want city staff spending any time on it because they have other things they need
Yeah.
to be doing. So if it's going to be, hey, Lauren, let's have you do this, this, and that for the next meeting, so then we can come back and talk about it. If the cemetery or somebody on the council wants to do some research or whatever, that's fine. I don't care.
Yeah, I wasn't going to have staff do it.
Right. I just wanted to throw that out there. Now, if the consensus thinks Lauren should do all this, then I guess.
No,
I do not.
like you, I don't want Lauren doing it either. Like, we have other things we need to get done.
Right.
And that wasn't my intent.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just trying
Me
to
neither.
be clear, that's all.
All right.
So that's all I was saying.
So somebody here is going to do some type of research before.
Otherwise, put it on agenda and just as for the next one and be done.
That tonight?
I'm saying we could do it tonight unless somebody's saying, I really want to kind of put a plan together or something.
I'd like to do it tonight and get the vote, and then if somebody comes up with something new, then they can bring it up anytime in the future.
I agree with that.
That way, it's a done issue until somebody comes up with something.
Okay.
And not
That's-
2 weeks from now saying, oh, I didn't have time to do research.
Can I have another 2
do
weeks?
it." You or Angie or anybody that wants to. If Lauren feels like going out and looking. But, you know, I just think we should end it and let the people at the cemetery know where we stand as of now without new information.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So probably we spent a lot of time on that, but I think it was good conversation. The contracts, I don't think we're going to talk much about because we're running out of time, but I'd like to have a 5-minute break in between, so maybe let's talk about the contracts for about 7 minutes and see where we get.
This is one of the items the council asked me to work on, so I did just kind of outline the services that staff provides in-house, and then also tried to list most of the contracts, consultants that we use for various services. I know the contract you guys wanted to start with was the Abdo Financial Services. I know Councilmember Wiley had some questions on this at our last meeting, so I did include a copy of their contract. We're about year 2.5 of a 3-year contract, so this contract goes through the end of 2027. So they would be a new proposal from them next year, starting in 2028 if we were to continue on. I know Councilmember Wiley asked about their hourly rate, the hours that they spend on this. It's not an hourly rate contract. It's a lump sum paid in monthly installments. And then the task list is listed within the contract. I did reach out just to see how much time they're spending on our contract, and on average, it's about 15 hours a week. That goes up during audit prep, end of year, budget, some of those larger financial things that the city has to do on an annual basis.
So the couple questions here, Lauren, and I'm trying to make it really quick because I like other people have time as well. So if they're saying about, I'm sorry, did you say 15 or 10 to 15?
It's 15 hours on average.
So about 15 hours a week. How many hours a week is city staff working on things related to finance? Because I know we do some of the stuff
Yep.
here.
40, I mean, real close to 40. I mean, we have an accounting specialist that does all the stuff Abdo doesn't do. Payroll,
Bookkeeping.
yep, claims, sure, they provide some customer service and stuff, but they're usually the last line of that before they do, but they cover the phones and the counter too when people are taking breaks and absent, but, they 40 hours a week doing accounting and finance stuff.
Right. So if one, and I'm not saying we should do this, I'm just throwing something out there. If you just said, well, let's hire our own at full time and combine those two jobs, it would be 55 hours a week, about.
Maybe.
So you could take the wages and it looks good, but one person probably can't do all of that.
No, and you're not going to get accounting's different than booking.
Right.
I can do bookkeeping.
Well, the point of what I'm trying to get at, you can't bring it in-house at 15 hours a week and think you're going to find anybody.
You're going to pay over 100,000 for that,
Right.
120,000.
But by trying to combine the two, which really isn't a feasible thing in the first place, even if you found that perfect person who can do both, they're not going to be able to do it in 40 hours. That's the point of
Yeah,
asking.
okay,
If you
yeah.
found just the perfect person.
Yeah.
My deal with Abdos, like Carrie, I think she's very nice. I mean, she's always pleasant when she's in here, but I never trust their numbers. It's happened quite a bit that, even last year for the budget. All right, this is where the levy's going to be. This is the tax rate, blah, blah, blah. And then it was again, oh, sorry, made a mistake on that. Now, I realize people make mistakes, but we're also paying $90,000 a year for 15 hours of work a week. And I just feel like the numbers should be more solid when we're getting them, or when we want things like, hey, where are we at the comparables to other cities? I mean, Lauren's doing a good job to try to get all that put together, but I'm not going to say I don't like their company, but what I will say is I'm not impressed. Like, I don't think like they're this greatest thing we've ever had here, but it's the only one I've ever dealt with here too, so.
Well, it's never good when you don't trust your accounting's numbers.
That's right.
I can tell you that we did used to have our own finance director here, worked full-time. I don't know at that time, I'd have to maybe get a hold of Mark Corrin and ask him if he remembers. I don't know if we had a finance person doing, or how much they were doing at that time, to add up and see if it was over that time frame. But I do remember when Abdu took over and our finance director left, they did say that they didn't know how they kept busy for 8 hours a week. And, I get the part where rates go up and fees go up and all that. Over the years, everybody's making more and all that stuff. But have we had that much additional work to warrant going from what they used to say was an 8-hour work week to a 16-hour work week? I kind of wondered. I don't think departments have changed that much, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they have for some reason. But
And rules have changed.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. But
yeah, it's,
Well, it's costing us about 115 an hour, but you hire somebody in at $40 an hour or whatever else, then you got benefits on top of that. You got health insurance. You've got all that other, and that's where it starts nickel and diming you, where you don't have to pay any of that when you consult it. But
maybe we should get other bids in. For
I was just going to say, maybe if
No.
the point is not the methodology we're using, but maybe the company we're using.
And I think the whole part of these was, or the kind of the exercise, we'll call it, of is this what we should continue doing? We might realize that, no, this actually works and this is what we should continue doing. But I did have a mayor, and I don't want to say it here on the recording, approach me a year or so back and said, would your city ever entertain having a finance director that's like 20 hours here, 20 hours there? The unfortunate part was, for that situation, our meetings are on the same nights. So it just seemed at the time, it didn't seem like it was even worth discussing.
How would you handle
but-
benefits?
What's that?
Because it's part-time, no benefits.
We didn't get into any of that. It was just, is
I mean,
there a
that's true,
way
though.
you could do that, or do you contract somebody
You know?
who's not as large of a
Be like the
firm?
fire departments,
Right.
Yeah, and maybe you don't have to give benefits. It doesn't mean you can't if you want to. So maybe maybe to get a position filled, the two cities say, well, we'll take what would normally be half of the benefits and you take the other half. I mean, there's so many things you could look at.
A lot of
signing
things you
that
can do.
contract, yeah.
You don't have to give benefits, you can give money in
Right.
lieu of HSAs, things like that.
And at the same time, you look at the whole work that they do. Maybe they take a little bit off our finance person here. Maybe they don't, but maybe you can look at it, and then that frees up that person a little time. We could interview people and really just dive into what.
And I think it's a good opportunity to look at the company as a whole and what they're providing.
Yeah.
Not that they're doing a bad job, but maybe there's another company that more aligns with who we are. And, and, you know, would do just as good a job, maybe for less money, who knows?
Yeah, I think it's good to always compare. Every once in a while, you have to send out and keep people on their toes. And
I think that's why we're having this
that was
discussion.
IPS one of those
Yeah.
days. That company.
Well, and I also agree with John, you know, having, regardless of what company we use, having a company that also stands for our beliefs, that we're not paying for things that don't necessarily represent our beliefs either.
Yeah,
Right.
that align
Oh,
with our city.
Yes.
Boy, you've gotten taller.
Well, Lauren, I don't know, just to wrap this meeting up, clearly we're not going to figure this out in 10 minutes here, so.
4 minutes.
Or 4 more minutes, so I think we'll pick it up maybe the next one or something, but at least we chatted about it.
when's the contract due, Lauren?
Yeah, mid-levels.
Another year left on it, so it was for years
Food costs us 180. We're paying 90.
26, or 25, 26, and
Or
27.
130.
So there's, you know, one more full year on it.
Okay.
However, we can give them a 60-day
Yeah.
notice.
And I'm not even so much into that because I know there is a lot going on, but we could look at it now, or at least we know, hey, next year we want to look at some other companies, and then Lauren has a year to think about at what time frame we should start looking.
Yeah, it's not something you jump right
We don't have
into.
to
Yeah, we don't have to
jump
do it
You
right
plan on
now.
this and because this is the heartbeat of what we're doing here.
Right.
So,
We're about to start our budget.
yeah.
Right, I don't want to make you have to jump through hoops to, oh man, now I got to add this, because that's not going to be probably a simple thing either.
No.
So we'd want to do that early enough to.
No, I agree. All this is to kind of get the conversation started. I don't think anybody's here thinking, it's time to get rid of them, let's get somebody new in
Right.
60 days. And
Right, right.
And if nothing else, it
Yeah,
might,
I've had
it
enough.
might confirm we should stick with them and do another 3 or 4 year contract or whatever. I mean, it could come out that way.
It could.
And maybe it just comes down to if it's, I'm sorry, Lauren, you say the end of 27 or
Didn't say
beginning of
anything.
27?
End of 27.
Beginning
I think
of
we're about
28.
2.5 years into a 3-year contract.
So maybe it's
I'm
at the
sorry.
beginning of 27, you just. put
One
it
and a
out-
half.
Put it out.
Yeah,
for
1.5
bids.
into
Good catch.
Maybe we start talking to companies before we start our budget or get in deep into our budget. And,
That's a good catch.
what do you think, Lauren?
I think that would be appropriate to get quotes before you start the budget process next year, so you can compare them. And I mean, I don't think Abdo, you know, they're a business, they have to compete for business, so they're
Right.
used to that, they do that all the time. So the current contract would go through December 31st, 2027.
Yeah, so maybe the end of 26, beginning of 27, we start
We look into it.
talking about and getting bids, because clearly they just keep adding and adding. Doesn't mean the others aren't either, but
Right.
Sometimes it's good to do a comparison. Either makes you feel better or makes you feel bad.
Thing is, it'll give us plenty of time to get it figured out and get working on it.
Yeah.
Unless Lauren thinks he can get it done next week.
I could get it done next week, but at the expense of some other things that are more important.
Right, yeah.
And I don't,
Yeah, no, we'll stay
No,
here.
we're not gonna put Lauren under that much pressure.
well, I think
Not
that's
enough
kind of where we'll end it then, Lauren. You know, towards the end of this year, beginning of next year, and look and see about, you know, how they compare to others and get bids from
Sure.
other firms, and I guess kind of go with that. But I hope, and I mean, I tell her I said it, that I'm just concerned about her numbers. And so hopefully when we meet next week or 2 weeks, what she's saying, you know, are the numbers. I realize if we're just throwing it, hey, change this real quick, but
If Weston's still talking to us next year, we should make a personal invitation to come.
He can come speak at the podium. Actually, right in the
In
middle.
this 2.5, 3 minutes.
yeah, if you remember, at the initial budget work session is a high-level overview because we don't have the county tax information yet. We will get that in August. But I understand your point completely.
Right.
I know what you're talking about.
it's just when you leave here feeling like, oh, actually we're not too bad, and then it's like, oh, actually we did some numbers wrong. It's like, well, That's not good.
Well, when we're asking questions, sometimes it feels like not as in touch with the numbers as one should be if they're representing us. So,
So that's where I'll leave it. I'm not saying they're doing a bad job. They're just kind of blah. You know.
Oh, 6.
But, all right.